sure everything is All right. Hello everybody out there in YouTube land. This is Kanoshi Abominito here with episode 59 of Project Console Accountability. But before we get into our topics, I'd like my panelist member to introduce himself.
Hello, it's me, Mr. Red Fox, on a Pride of BS Busters. Glad to be on another cast.
Glad to have you. So our first topic, starting out the gate red hot. AMD's GPUs are I think it's 96 or 7600 XTs, 7900 XTs. They're higher end. They're high end graphics cards. They're melting.
7950?
Yeah, 7900 XTX. Their high end graphics cards are melting. They have a deficiency that causes them to melt. And it wasn't too long ago where Nvidia had the same problem.
NVIDIA?
Yeah, with their outlets melting. There seems to be a problem with heating. Either there seems to be a problem with the manufacturing, or there seems to be a problem with heating. I was talking to a friend about this a few months ago, and he brought up the idea that it's like it's. I don't necessarily completely agree with this, but maybe they've hit a wall pertaining to keeping these things under control. But at the same time, maybe it's just they just need to change how they dissipate heat. Maybe they need to start shipping these things out with AIOs. I don't know.
I'll be right back. I gotta go get my cell phone real quick.
So I remember a few months ago I saw a headline talking about a rumor of an RTX Titan, a 40 series Titan, which was canceled because they just couldn't get the heating under control. Literally, when they turned it, not literally, when they turned it on, it melted the power supply because of how much heat and energy it was producing. So, yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how they figure out how they cool the next the next generation of cards, because I know the rumors.
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back. The rumors that are starting up pertaining to the 50 series cards, and if the 40 series cards have had heating issues, it'll be interesting to see what sort of walls they're going to run in with the 50 series cards. But what do you think of all of this? You think they've hit a wall, or do you think it's just they've been kind of getting lazy on their manufacturing?
I'm gonna say something that's gonna blow people's minds. Some people are not gonna like this, but I don't really care. I think that I'm about to say something that's gonna make some people very upset, but I don't care. I think that these cards are doing exactly what they were designed to do. Like I said, I'm gonna say something that's gonna blow people's minds. They're not gonna like it. They're gonna get mad. Okay? They're gonna be like, how dare you, sir? But these cards are drawing power in order to have the maximum performance they can get. I don't think the cards are the failing point, are the failure point. I think that cooling has not kept up with what these cards are capable of doing.
Yeah.
Most people a lot of the people who have their cards like these, back in the day, you used to have cooling for your CPU. But the way these graphics cards, these GPUs are going on, the GPU is like a CPU, is another CPU, except instead of your CPU having its hand in everything that your computer's doing, the GPU is solely just doing graphics.
Yeah.
That's it. So it's another CPU just doing nothing but graphics. But it's still, and I mean, that's still a lot of stuff. And, cases are not being built that are really taking advantage of that. But that's my own personal opinion. I could be wrong. I'm just some guy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, again, these cards are producing a lot of heat, a lot of energy, and the equipment that they're using just isn't enough. Either isn't enough to handle it, or they just really need to rethink how they build these things. Like, I mean, it's getting out of control with Nvidia and AMD. Like, if you've even, I mean, yeah, the reference cards for AMD, the size is all right, but the third party ones are still as biggest trucks, and same with Nvidia's cards. They're biggest trucks, so it's just like they can figure out a way to be more efficient and get more or handle software more efficiently rather than just throwing a bunch of you know power at the issue and make them smaller and cooler. That would be nice. It'd also be nice if because software and hardware obviously are pretty well, they're interrelated. So it'd also be nice if the way games and software are coded maybe be a little more efficient, a little more optimized. Maybe you know uh, creating sort of these tricks where you're actually using less assets, but creating tricks where it actually looks like you're using more.
I
I don't know.
mean, that's all fine and dandy, but ultimately, this is a hardware issue and not a software issue.
Yeah,
And the fact of the matter is that these cases are not being built. The cooling is not being utilized in such a way to keep them cool. Um, and you're just gonna have to you're gonna basically it's like they created an engine that is too powerful for the cars that are on the road right now. So you're gonna have to wait another maybe year to 2 years till you're gonna have cases and coolers that are designed to also cool the GPU.
yeah,
That's just the way it is. I mean, like everyone's like, people want to make it sound like, oh, this is so terrible. It's like, no, they're here's the thing, okay? I've seen how expensive their top of the line 7950 is, XT, and it's, I mean, it's what I think like 599, 699. It's still way cheaper than what you're paying. Like Nvidia's card that costs like what 3,000 for their top end card. That's like normal retail's like 3,000. If you're charging me 3 grand for a graphics card and it's having those issues, I have a problem. 599, I can. I'm not saying it's okay, but I can understand. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Here, let me look it up. AMD graphics cards, graphic card prices. Um, MSRP. Let's see. There should be a list of 7,900. Okay, they aren't even selling the 7,950 right now, but the 7,900 is. I'm gonna look at the price on AMD.com. Okay, so the 7,900 right now is like the base one with just the 7,900 is $899. Okay, now let's look how much Nvidia's top of the line card is, because I guarantee it's more than that. Okay, Nvidia graphics card, they're 4080, or is it 4090, whatever the fuck it is. 40. Let's look at this. 40. See all buying options. They're 4090, which they stopped selling the 4090 because it was melting people's computers. No, it's still there. $16,000, 1599.
Well, it's not even $1,500. I don't think it's 16,000.
No, it's 1599. You got to round that up, okay?
Yeah, so 1,600.
1600.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, like, okay, if I'm paying $900 for a graphics card, and I'm getting, like the top of the line you can get right now from AMD is their 790 XT. I know the 795, the 7950, but good luck finding one of those. Okay, but whatever, like you can only get the 7950. Whatever. The graphics card is 7900 XT. It's a decent, like if you want 2K 60 frames per second or 120, depending on whatever the refresh rate is of your
Monitor.
Okay, solid, relatively speaking. I mean, but the price you're going to pay for that is going to draw more power.
Yeah.
That's just, like, I don't see, like, oh my God, this is terrible. It's like, well, that's just what happens. Like, people need to stop. Oh my God, this is a scandal. Look, if you don't want your computer starting a fire, then go with the 6900 series. Then the 6000 series, because you'll get, look, if you have a 6000 series, like a 65 or a 66 or a 67 or even a 69, you're still gonna have great performance with using less power, and it's cheaper. So people need. This is all people who jumped the gun and saw that, oh, it's brighter and newer, that must be better. Not necessarily all the time.
Yeah.
The newest shit is not necessarily always the best shit.
And who knows what will happen with drivers? Because sometimes, drivers help optimize the way the hardware. Because I was looking at a review, and it was actually a CPU review, and AMD, where Intel beat out AMD a few months ago because of some of their driver updates. AMD was pulling ahead or a lot closer in certain factors. So yeah, I mean, it's not just. I'm not saying it's gonna fix everything or even fix anything. It's just sometimes performance changes due to Windows updates and driver updates. So I mean,
here's what I'm gonna say. Here's what I'm gonna say. Hear me out here, okay? hear me out, okay? Drivers can only do so much. If there's a fundamental hardware flaw, a driver is not gonna fix that. So I'm not gonna, because a lot of people always think, well, because I remember I was talking with another tech person we know, and they were saying, well, AMD's super resolution is going to help the Switch. I'm like, yeah, but in order for that to work, you need a moderately powerful CPU and GPU in order for that to work. Like, it doesn't, if you have the lowest end, it's just going to make whatever it's using super resolution on look like even worse and play worse than it normally would. Like, it's not gonna, like, you have to have it has to be decently powerful for that to work.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't. By what it sounds like, I don't. It's definitely sounds like a manufacturing or big. It sounds more like a hardware error. Could alleviate some of the problem, possibly, more than likely, probably not. And for a while, AMD has been quiet about this flaw. I think they started saying something about it, uh, but yeah, just seems to be the problem with GPUs these days. They come out and more than likely you're probably going to end up with something heavily flawed.
Yeah, I think that's a part of it. Personally, and this is just my own. What's the word I'm looking for? This is my own personal aside. Now, I could be wrong, but this is just how I feel. I personally think that this is an issue. I don't think this is a hardware issue. I think this is just the fact that these uh, these components, these hardware components, are doing a lot, and they're drawing more power. They
Yeah,
are not. They do not have. Do not have a proper heatsink.
yeah,
They just don't have a proper heatsink.
yeah, yeah,
So I think that people were expecting all this stuff, and I'm like, it's not gonna happen. You know, it's just not gonna happen. Calm down. It's not gonna
I
happen.
mean, problem is, I mean, people just have gotten so comfortable. They've demanded they've they demand better graphics, more power, but the problem is it comes with a cost, and especially now that we've entered this energy crisis, it's depending on where you live, that cost is going to be significant. It's not like electricity is magic that just comes out of nowhere. But anything else
Yeah.
you'd like to say about this topic before we move on to our next?
I mean, that was it. I'm just like I'm tired of people acting like oh my god, this is the best shit ever. I'm like, yeah, no. Calm down. Calm your ass down. Calm your little asses down, okay? Calm your little asses down and chill out.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
Um
But yeah, going from state of the art to old, to very old. I saw this video by Review Tech USA. He bought a console from a company called DKOLDIES, which is apparently a scam company. So what they do is they refurbish old consoles and then resell them at a premium.
mhm.
And so he bought one of those consoles just to just to talk about, see what the heck was going on. And yeah, the console pretty much came in. You could find a you could find a better product on eBay for less the price. Uh, like they used the wrong screws. They didn't use the right screws for to the they didn't use the right screws for the console assembly. Console came pretty dirty. The cartridges also came in pretty dirty. Had to You have to clean the cartridge out. The slot loader wasn't working wasn't working properly. Uh, just just all sorts of all sorts of things that just weren't right with the console. And it's and it, they wanted $300 for the entire thing too. So $300 for a piss poor refurbished product. Is there anything? Is there anything you've bought? You know, any retro items you bought at a premium that was that came in pretty bad shape, or the company said one thing and it turned out to be something else?
No, I
No.
don't really. To be honest with you, I am not a big. I don't really like. Uh, I'm not. I don't like doing refurb stuff.
Yeah.
The only time I do refurb is if it's something that I know I don't really feel like putting a lot of money into.
Yeah. A lot of times, getting something refurbished is getting something refurbished. Your best bet is getting it from the manufacturer itself. Like if you were rather than a third party company. But
Um,
well, I mean, I would think I don't really buy stuff refurbished either.
like I said, I would the times that I've done refurb is like when I first started my business and I had to basically like buy certain electronics. I would get factory refurbished or the company refurbished because you still have a warranty if it's messed up and you're not spending as much. So let's say you're getting computers
Yeah.
for your cash register, stuff like that. Like it's cheaper for me to get factory refurbished or manufacturer refurbished because I'm literally paying like 30% would normally retail for. So like those cash registers might normally cost like $230. I'm paying like 80.
Yeah.
Like, why would I spend more than I have to for something that I'm going to use for 2 or 3 years and then upgrade?
Yeah.
Like, but for my own personal shit, no, I don't get refurbished stuff. Like for my own personal shit, I'd rather get something new.
Yeah. Yeah. I honestly think this is. The retro scene has been kind of weird these past few years. It's also a way to scam people who are into the retro scene or want to get into the retro scene out of money. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. It's a shady thing, which is why, you know, I know people are going to get mad at me when I say this, but I'm going to keep it right now. If you're going to get into retro video gaming, your best bet is to just fucking emulate. Just
yeah, I
emulate.
mean that's what I would tell people.
Just emulate. If you can't get your hands on the original hardware, um, just emulate.
Yeah,
Cause it's not worth. Cause people, and even then, if the original hardware, people do shady stuff like sell repro carts. Like they'll sell a repo cart for some ridiculously overpriced amount, and then you're like, oh wait, you sold me something that's fake.
yeah, because sometimes those copying a ROM to another cart doesn't always fare well.
No, which is why I mean personally, I would rather like okay, if you want to play on the original hardware, okay, get yourself a Super Nintendo and the controllers or whatever, get whatever cartridge based system you want. Get yourself an EverDrive and just take a SD card and put it in there. You're playing on the original hardware, but you're playing using a ROM. You're still
Yeah,
using the original controls. You're still hooking it up to a CRT. You're getting that experience without any of the bullshit. Plus, you have save states and stuff like that. So it's because some of those games, like I know Jurassic Park for the SNES, that game is long and there's a lot of steps into it. And I'm like, man, this game would be great if you could save. Because it has a password system, which is trash.
yeah, that's the thing about a lot of those older games is yeah, the password system, and yeah, you just can't save. Like
Yeah.
the companies cheaped out and didn't want to put a battery in there so you could save your game.
Well, with Jurassic Park, the thing is that because it's not that they cheaped out, it's because in that game every time you enter, like when you do certain events in the game in order to like clear certain things, the game world's like those events are permanently there. Like if you kill a certain amount of, if you get a certain amount of raptor eggs, those eggs are gone. If you complete certain events, that of those events permanently change the island. So the game has to hold all that shit in RAM while you're playing the game. So it's like, or sorry, in ROM while you're playing the game. So they literally did not have the system, the memory to do it. And plus, you also factor in the game is part overhead adventure, but then you have the portions when you're going inside, it turns into a first-person shooter, and which I mean seems kind of stupid, but it's like, man, I mean, what Jurassic Park game lets you blow up raptors with rocket launchers? Super Nintendo. Jurassic Park does in first person too, bitches. Um, and I've played it since with like hacks that add saves and stuff like that. And the game, it literally, it makes the game so much better. Like, there's a lot of SNES games that people like, that game was terrible. It's like, no, there was one major flaw with the game, and if they fixed that one major flaw, it would have been amazing. Like, Mega Man X is a great game. If you play it like the hacked version, where it uses your system's resources and your system's your system's CPU in order to make sure it doesn't have the slowdown, it's even better. So, but you can't do that on the original hardware. That's where hacking and emulation is better than the original.
And then you'll have. I was watching a video today where it was talking about how people get mad if you're not playing on original hardware, if you're not playing on the most authentic. But it's like you're still playing the game though. Everybody just needs to relax. Like, are people gonna use save states and stuff? Sure. I mean, we didn't have save states back in the day, but it's like whatever. You know, it's called the.
Here's what I'm gonna say. Who cares? Look, are you enjoying the game?
Yeah, that's all that
fucking
matters. Yeah.
Like, for example, like everyone's always like, "Yeah, man, I'm glad that Square Enix is doing all these remakes of old shit." You know how I first played Front Mission? I played it using emulation. You know how I enjoyed the real version of Final Fantasy II and not that bullshit we got here in America that was censored? I played a ROM hack of it that added all the decensored, that added the lost content that they took out, because they made it too fucking easy, and they nerfed a lot of the characters and took abilities away from characters. And they edited out the cursing, the hookers, the nude dancers, the strippers. I mean, a lot of the cool stuff that made Final Fantasy II, it's like, oh, this game's really got some edge to it. Don't let the cartoony graphics fool you. That game has a lot of edge. Sorry, Final Fantasy IV. Nah, it was stripped out in America. Same thing with 5, 6. 6 is, like, I'm going to keep it real. 6, even the English version of 6, the localized version of 6, is amazing. But if you really want to enjoy 6, if you've played Final Fantasy 6 so much that you know how to get the best ending by heart, play some of the hacks that add new content or change up the game so that, those breaks where the game kind of opens up a bit. You can go to towns and take on little side quests to get extra, like, treasures and all types of little gewgaws and gadgets and shit. That's awesome. And it makes the game more enjoyable. Like, I don't know why people, like, I have played Super Mario World so much that playing hacked versions of it is more enjoyable to me than playing the original game.
Yeah, it's kind of how I feel about Super Mario RPG.
Yeah, and look, we like Super Mario RPG. I like Super Mario RPG. But damn it, man, do something different by now, okay?
Yeah.
That's why I like Thousand Year Door, because at least Thousand Year Door tried to make the game more difficult and added some difficulty to it that rewarded expert play. Versus every other Mario game, every other Paper Mario game after that punishes you or treats you like, it's like, oh, we want to make this accessible for everybody. It's a fucking RPG. It's not supposed to be accessible to everybody.
Yeah. 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 Not to mention the price gouging when it comes to retro games and whatever. Like, yeah, that's what I would suggest to most people who are interested in
Emulate it.
just emulate it. You know,
Simulate it.
just emulate it.
Get yourself one of the retro, one of the Retrons and EverDrive and play the shit like that. Or if you're a purist, get yourself the original hardware because you can still get your hands on the original hardware. You can for decent prices, and get yourself an EverDrive. Or if you want to splurge, get yourself one of the better EverDrives. Like one of the upgraded versions of an EverDrive that can emulate the Super FX chip, stuff like that. Put that shit in there so you can play that shit.
Yeah.
Don't 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 be like, hey, I only play the original hardware because the original hardware is too expensive. And Nintendo, Sega, Capcom, none of these companies are really putting out their old shit. And if you're waiting for Sony to do something about it, but keep on waiting.
Yeah.
Sony don't give a shit about nobody.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's definitely true. But yeah, it just you know, be nice. You know, these companies could get together, set all their differences aside, and created something that was, whether it be through your computer or through some pieces of hardware, where you could just maybe subscription based. I don't know. They're
No,
gonna want to make money somehow off of it.
no,
To you don't think so?
I do not want a service because we've seen a service with that bullshit with Nintendo.
No, I
And
wouldn't.
Here's the problem with services. Services are trash.
Yeah. Yeah. Typically,
Okay,
since you don't own anything.
I'd rather have a la carte like they had with the Virtual Console. Like just like have it be like have it if they created a Steam of retro gaming where you could go and you could buy these games and you just get the ROM and you can play it anywhere. You give them like let's say like depending on the generation. If it's a third gen game, so like the NES or like PCs of that generation or whatever, it's like $5. Five
Yeah.
dollars is fair because they ain't doing shit with it. Okay, they
Yeah.
literally are just making the code available. Okay,
Yeah.
okay? Whoever it belongs to. If it's a Capcom game, give Capcom $5. If it's Sega, give them $5. Whoever owns the thing, it's $5. Okay.
Yeah.
If it's a fourth gen game, $7. Fifth gen, 10. Sixth gen, 15 to 20, depending on the quality of the game. If it's some licensed shovelware, $13. Unless it's good. If it's like a classic, 20. Okay? And once you get to the seventh gen, those aren't retro games. I know people like no, if it's a seventh gen game, it's not retro. Sixth gen, that's as far back as you can go. But I don't want a service because Nintendo has given me a taste of what a video game service, subscription based service will look like, and I mean Nintendo's online library is trash. It's doo doo butter.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
I mean,
doo
I
doo.
agree.
It's doo doo butter. Doo doo butter.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely agree. But anything else you'd like to say on this topic of anything else you'd like to say before we move on to our next topic?
Um, I have nothing to say except I have
Yeah.
nothing to say except what was I about to say? Oh, Here's what I'm gonna say. I have nothing else to say except I'm tired of people. I'm tired of these console purists being like, I only play, and I don't want to hear, oh, well, you're just saying that. No, I'm one of those people. I have every game that I've emulated on my PC. I also have the original physical version of. Okay,
Yeah.
like I have my NES, SNES, game, N64, GameCube, um, Wii, Wii U, Switch. I have all the Nintendo consoles. I have most of the Sega consoles. I have four generations of PlayStation consoles. I have the Xbox, but the Xbox has a lot of backwards compatibility, so I don't need all the other Xboxes. Um, I have two Ataris. I have uh, some other retro consoles. I have a TurboGrafx 16 and a TurboGrafx CD. I wanted to get a Neo Geo, but that shit is prohibitively expensive, so I said fuck that. Um, but here's the thing: I have a huge library of retro games. Okay, and not even a complete library, just shit that I want to play. Like I've got all the SNES RPGs. I also have all the Famicom RPGs because I have a Super Famicom as well. Okay, so I'm a huge RPG nut in that regard. Okay, I've got Snatcher. I've got SD Snatcher on the TurboGrafx 16. I've ripped that game and put a patch on it, and I play it through emulation. Okay, fucking love all of those games, but I mean, I'm also not going to sit there and say you have to play these games on the original hardware because most people will never be able to play SD Snatcher because it's hard to find. The only reason I got one because I got a copy when I went to Japan.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not going to sit there and say, well, if you can't play on the original hardware, too bad for you. I'm like, no, there needs to be a way. Like, I think that these companies should be able to make money off of their shit. But I also think that if they're not going to put their shit out there and not make it available for people to play, but the games are good, emulate it.
Yeah.
If you're not going to make something commercially available, or you're going to make it like people have to jump through so many damn hoops to order to play your games that it's not worth it, and I'm going to tell people to play it any way they can. And if they don't give you any money while doing that, well, that's too bad for you. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Some people will
What?
get mad about that and be like, "Oh, don't say that."
Don't say that. How dare you criticize these wonderful companies? It's like, whatever.
Don't you love? Don't you love? Don't you love so and so? It's like, not really. No. But anyway, what were you saying? I'm sorry. I
Oh, I mean that's it. I don't have much else to say about it. But speaking of scams, more scams. Logan Paul had a big crypto scam uh, be revealed. Um, yeah, he had a big crypto scam. I think it's called a crypto zoo. That was uh, the whole apparatus, and then or the name of the apparatus, and then CoffeeZilla uh, made a 3-part video about the scam, and then Logan responded with that. Made a response video essentially threatening to sue CoffeeZilla, and he later then took down that video because I guess maybe somebody said he didn't have a leg to stand on. And so the thing is, the problem with crypto is that
it's
people have been,
bullshit.
well, I mean, that and people use it as a get rich quick scheme when it should have just have been, used as an alternate currency. But again, people got too proud of themselves. They thought they smelled pretty, and turns out they smell like garbage. And now people are and now people are empty-handed. So I don't
uh,
know if you heard about this
Here's what
story.
I'm gonna say. Crypto was bullshit. We all know it was bullshit. Everybody knows crypto was bullshit. Um, everybody knew crypto was bullshit, and I don't want to hear people say, "Oh no." Okay, like we saw a picture of that dude who was trying to, and his girlfriend trying to sell people on crypto, and it was like, yeah, that guy screams to me, "I'm full of shit."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I remember when crypto had a meteoric rise back a couple of years ago. I was like, well, it's only a matter of time before the good time ends, before the party's over, because this party can't last forever. You know what comes up. Uh, what goes up must come down.
Um, like I said, everything about the guy just kind of like screamed, "Yeah, I'm full of shit,"
Yeah,
and I wasn't
yeah,
surprised by it. Like I was like, "Yeah, this dude's full of shit."
yeah. I wasn't surprised when it crashed. I find it funny that find it funny because I know people the GPU market was in bad shape, and a lot of these people were left with these GPUs that were practically worthless. I mean, pertaining to crypto mining when it all just bottomed out. Yeah,
I
people got
mean,
greedy, significantly greedy these past couple of years, and I
crypto mining is not the same as what FTX was doing, but I get what you're saying.
yeah
But yeah, basically, yeah. I mean, the whole thing was shady as fuck, and you cannot like. Okay, if I ask someone to explain what, like, if you ask an investment banker, like someone who's trying to sell shares of a company, like, okay, what are you doing? Like you can explain what shares to a company do. If someone says, "Hey, you bought shares of Coca-Cola," you're investing money in a company, hoping that the company will grow to the point where those shares will grow in value, so that you'll make money. So if you take like $10,000 and you buy $10,000 worth of shares of a company, right? And let's say that gets you like 2,000 shares of that company, okay? And let's say like over time, that $10,000 that got you 2,000 shares grows in value to where if you wanted to get that same amount of shares, you'd have to spend 50,000, and then you sold those 2,000 shares. That means you made a lot of fucking money. Okay, you know where your money went. You know how it grew. FTX has no basis on what it's making its money off of. It's just people assuming that it's valuable, or assuming that it's not valuable in this case.
yeah
So I don't know what to say. I just at this point I just don't care.
yeah. I don't either. I just found it kind of funny that people thought oh, the good times will last forever for us. But like I was saying, people for the last few years have gotten so greedy, uh, not just crypto, but just in all sorts of different markets that I think within the next couple of years it's going to come back to bite them.
Yeah, I don't think it was greedy. I think people wanted something that was a get rich that was basically get rich quick. And there's no such thing as an investment that's going to get you rich quick. If you have an investment that is telling you, oh, you just put a little bit of money in and you're going to double, triple, quadruple your investment, not short term, you're not. Even people who invest, like I put money. My grandparents gave me X amount of dollars, right?
Yeah.
My grandparents said, okay, look, we are going to
We're going to.
yeah, my grandparents basically gave me X amount of dollars. Gave they what they did was is that they essentially what they essentially did was is that they went up and they said, hey, we want to essentially what we're going to do is we're going to they liquidated like 95% of their assets. Well, not 90, like 85% of their assets, and they gave each of their three grandkids X amount of dollars. Now, I don't know what my two cousins did with their money. I took my money and I just threw it in the stock market.
Yeah.
I put it in an IRA and I didn't touch it for like 10 years. I didn't touch my money until I wanted to pay off my house, and I had to take out a certain amount because after I paid taxes on what I took out, I had to take out a certain percentage of that money I had to pay in taxes. And then I went to the bank and I said, look, I know I owe you guys X amount of dollars, but I'll give you a cashier's check for this much if you just call it even. And they did. So that's how I paid off my house. Okay. Um, and the rest of my money, I just have left it alone. I put what was left back in there and I just have left it alone with the bulk of the rest of that money, and I haven't touched it. But that's over, like, at this point, I paid off my house like 6 years ago. And I haven't, like, the money that I took out, I made that back in like 2 years. No, like 2.5 years. Even now, with the economic downturn we're having, I still have far more money than I put in 16 years ago.
Yeah.
Because I haven't touched it,
Yeah.
most of it. I've just left it
Yeah.
alone. So if you, like, but that's, like, if you like investment is a long-term strategy. It's not like you're going to put some money in and get some money out. That's not how the shit works.
Yeah. Yeah. You gotta be patient. You know, it's not like something you're just gonna put a bunch of money in. And it's like, oh, automatically, magically, bags of money just come, just come falling out of the sky. Uh,
Yeah, man. It's a
mm,
long-term investment. It's like you
yeah.
plant a tree. When you plant a tree, you don't plant a sapling and then come out next year and be like, it's going to grow all huge and give me some fruit next year. No. It's a long-term investment.
Yep.
It's a long-term investment. Investment is a long-term investment. It's like when you buy a house. You buy a house, you pay it off, its value goes up. It's a long-term investment, okay? You're not gonna. It's not gonna. Oh, it printed money the day after tomorrow. No, no, hell no. And if you have someone in business trying to tell you, oh yeah, yeah, it just prints money, they're lying to you.
Yeah.
You are being taken advantage of.
But was there anything at CES 2023 that stuck out to you? Anything you found interesting?
Uh, no, just some of the weird looking fucking things they had. That's about it.
Yeah, there was that laptop that had glasses free 3D laptop. I think I don't remember who's making it. I think it might have been Lenovo, or it might have been Ace, either Asus or Lenovo. Look it up. Yeah, it's this art laptop mainly geared towards creators. Yeah, it was Asus that announced this 3D laptop. Uh, it allows users to view and work with content in 3D without wearing 3D glasses. Also has multiple points on it, so you don't have to be like right at a particular angle like you did with the 3DS. Like it knows where it uses eye tracking, so it knows where your pretty much follows your eyes, so you won't lose the 3D. You won't lose the 3D image. But I mean, other than that, AMD is coming out with their laptops. Intel's coming out with their laptops. Intel laptops look pretty interesting. Um, but not really anything that stands out. It's not anything that really stood out. Yeah. Um, Lenovo made this laptop that has an e-ink display on the back of it, so you can
I
also
saw
use it
that. It
like a
looks kind of
book.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you just had to like type papers, I think that would be very useful for students. You know,
Oh yeah, it definitely would be pretty good. Just if
like
you
if
had
you're a
to,
student, yeah,
yeah, go
that
ahead.
would be really useful.
Yeah, yeah, um, yeah. That too stuck out. That was pretty neat. Other than that, there wasn't really anything crazy. Uh, 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 that stood out. Um, just another year for really more powerful laptops, and I think there's a monitor that was announced. It's a computer monitor, OLED monitor, 240 hertz. Uh, that looked interesting. Definitely won't be able to afford that, but I know sometimes they have. Let's see. Uh, yeah, there wasn't any. I haven't didn't come across like any really cool or weird prototype ideas either. But anyway, is there anything you'd like to bring up? Free topic.
Uh, no, that's about it.
Okay.
Um, I mean, well, let's see. Do I have a free topic? Let me look at my let me look at my channel. I might have something I put up there. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, I mean, it's about movies. It's about movies.
Oh yeah. Speak. Yeah. Go ahead.
I saw Megan. It was amazing.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. I hope that they come out with a rated R version though.
An unrated version. Yeah. Yeah. I heard about that. That sounds pretty interesting.
Well, it's like a modern take on Child's Play, Chucky.
Yeah.
I liked it. Like you knew from the start that this shit was not going to turn out well because when she came out, she took off those shades. It was like, oh shit, lady, why would you do this? like like this whole thing. Like she takes off these shades, looking like this shit right here. I'm like, god damn, the doll is already looking at you like you ain't shit. The doll's like, yeah, you ain't shit. It's like when the doll is looking at you like you ain't shit, you know, you done fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah, the premise sounds pretty crazy.
So that's my own thing. I think there's some good movies coming out. The other one is Cocaine Bear. I mean that movie I'm gonna watch just because the premise is so. I mean, like you just tell me a bear that's high on cocaine. Oh shit, that's all you had to let me know. Shit.
Yeah.
I don't need any. I don't need to know anymore.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and we watched the trailer to Ant Man, the new Ant
The
Man
wasp.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems
Ant-Man
like
and
they're
Wasp.
seems like they're killing off all the old Avengers.
I
At least that's the
mean,
vibe
look,
I'm getting.
man.
Especially
They're
since
facing Kang the Conqueror, which according to which version of Kang the Conqueror you're dealing with, he's essentially the future. He's Franklin Richards. Now, if that name sounds familiar, Franklin Richards is the son of Reed Richards and Sue Storm.
yeah,
He's the son of arguably one of the most smartest, intelligent, egotistical heroes in the Marvel Universe. A version of him.
yeah,
And Franklin Richards has been like Reed Richards is kind of a dick, but he's a good guy. He's on our side. Think about what an evil version of his son would be. Yeah.
wow,
So yeah, that's gonna be fun.
yeah, yeah,
But you know, here's the way I feel about it. I think that I'll be right back. I think that Ant-Man and Wasp is going to be a good movie. I've enjoyed most of the Ant-Man movies. The first one was a heist film. The second one was another heist film, and this one's going to be a heist film. It's just there. I mean, because he's a thief. This version of Ant-Man is a thief. He steals
yeah,
shit. So it's like you used to be somebody, but now you're a thief. It's like. You know, but I mean, like ironically, Ant-Man's turned out to be the heart of the Marvel universe.
yeah,
Like he's the one who saved the team. Like you thought Endgame, he's the one who brings the team together after Endgame.
yeah,
Like he's the one who brought every like and his like he comes home he realizes he missed like 5 years, so he didn't get to see his little girl grow up, and like everyone thought he was dead. And I'm like, god damn man, you had to go through a lot of shit. Like he's the guy who like when he gets recruited he fans out because it's Captain America. Like we all would. Like if Captain America was a real person, like you would fan out like if Superman was a real person.
yeah, yeah,
Like it'd be like, oh shit, it's Superman, not that shitty Zack Snyder version of Superman. Like you know, like if Superman was real, like Christopher Reeve Superman was real, I'd fanboy out. I'd be like, oh shit, it's Superman. Ah shit, it's
yeah,
Superman. It'd be like when you were a kid, you saw Santa Claus. It's like Santa
yeah,
Claus. Ah, you know. Because, I mean, you know, like, if you lived in that universe and you saw Captain America, it's like, oh shit, it's Captain America! That guy punched Hitler in the face! He's awesome! Man, you're awesome, Cap! You're awesome! So, yeah, I'm hoping this movie's gonna be good. I'm hoping that they get all the comedy. But I mean, some of the Marvel movies have been good. Like I like Shang-Chi. I like
yeah,
Black Panther too. Um, I think I think this version of Namor was less of a dick than he is in the comics. He was still a dick though, and I feel kind of bad that Shuri didn't kill him because spoiler alert. Uh, Namor floods Wakanda, and some important characters die. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Shang-Chi was good until they went to Mystic Kung Fu Magic Land.
Anyway, my free topic is apparently the emulation for PS2 games on Android has been shut down because somebody just, or maybe it was a group of people, decided to throw a hissy fit because there wasn't an iOS version. And it's just kind of like, it's pretty much bullied out. The main developer is bullied off the project. So essentially, it's just kind of like, if you're interested in emulating on your phone, then getting an iPhone is not a good idea because Apple has that shit locked down, and you know
You got that shit on lock.
yeah, it's just crazy that it's like
This is
Android's
why we
the
can't have nice stuff because of fanboys.
yeah, exactly. It's like, sorry guys, I mean Android's the go-to place when it comes to open source stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you guys. I don't know what to
And now
tell
we
you.
can't have any of that shit because some douchebag fanboys.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, it's just kind of like this. You mean you can, if you really want to emulate on your phone, like you could
People
find a
been
mod.
emulating on their phones for years, though. That's the thing.
Yeah,
Like you
Is it-
can, there's a whole market in China where you can go and buy all the. You can buy a phone in China. You can buy a phone in China that fucking has all that shit.
yeah,
Like I don't understand. I do not understand people. I don't understand people getting mad about that type of shit. I really don't.
yeah. I don't either.
Oh my god, this happened. I'm like, man, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
Stop complaining. Because that's all it is.
yeah, yeah. Well, in any case, in any case, want to give it a sign out and call it a night.
Yep, this is Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor BS Busters. It's been a while. I'm glad to be back. Glad to be back in the game. I got nothing to say. Except things have been kind of interesting as of late. Don't forget next week, Monday is MLK Day. It's a day of service, so you know you can go sign up if you don't work that day. You can sign up to go do some type of day of service. It's doing something, painting a school, working on a garden. Heck, even if you go and volunteer to help some old person in your neighborhood, go do something. Go do a service to your fellow man, and don't just take the day off and stick around. That's it.
And it's Kenoshi Nita here with Project Console, 59, Accountability, and we will see you guys next week. Have a good week, have a good weekend, and have a good life.